I want to put forward the hypothesis that the framework of meaning that's shattered in the case of trauma, it's a naive framework. Now, it might be implicit. It's a naive form of faith. And we know that naivety is a risk factor for trauma because we know that people who are dependent are more likely to be traumatized. Okay, so here's the naivety element of it. I want to tell you, I want to bring in a fundamental story, since I think these assumption networks are stories. Okay, so I've been studying the story of Job. And the story of Job is the story of suffering.
Yes, and meaningless, right. What seems like random events, right.
Well, or worse than random, malevolent.
Malevolent.
Right, okay, so this is how the story sets itself up. So we're told at the beginning of the story that Job is a good man. And we have the testimony of God himself on Job's account. And so God is up in heaven bragging away, so to speak, about how good Job is. And his sons come to observe, and one of whom is Satan. And Satan says, I don't think Job's that good. I think he's just fortunate. And God says, no, I think he's good. And Satan says, why don't you let me have a crack at him and we'll see if he's good. And so God says, yeah, okay, do your worst. And in consequence, and that's the malevolent element, let's say, at least the arbitrary element, but perhaps the malevolent element, Job loses everything that he's worked for, virtually everything he works for. He loses much of his family. He becomes very ill, and not just ill, but ill in a way that's disfiguring and shameful. And then his friends come along and tell him that, well, you know, if he had been a better guy, none of this would have happened. So really, it's his fault. And then Job has a response, and this is why I'm bringing up this story. Job's response is to insist that despite proximal evidence, it's a requirement to maintain faith in the essential goodness of the individual, especially an individual who's been conducting himself ethically, which Job has been, by his own testimony, and by God's testimony. We know Job is a good man. And Job's wife tells him when she observes his suffering, she says, there's nothing left for you to do but shake your fist at God, curse him, and die. And Job says instead, and he insists this to his friends, he refuses to lose faith in his essential goodness. And he also refuses to lose faith in the essential goodness of God.